What's going on, guys? It's Tyler here from the Sacktown Breakdown, and today I'm going to be reviewing the January 4th, 2020 Kings vs. Pelicans game where we got thoroughly annihilated. I don't care what the score says. We got destroyed by the Pelicans, and I'm pissed off. I'm irritated. I'm not happy one bit, and I'm going to be calling for some things here that might seem dumb in hindsight. In 20 games from now, 20 weeks from now, whatever, I might come back at this and be like, man, that was dumb that you asked for this or you wanted this. Or maybe it's like, damn, I was right. Maybe we should have done that. But I'm pissed off. This team sucks. The team's awful. We got Single4 in the chat. He says, still Happy New Year, man. And Happy New Year to you, Single4. But the previous things he said before we fired up the stream here, it's in the chat. I'm going to read it. He says, it's time to panic now. This is shit. Then he says, Vlade better be doing something right now. Call up Pistons for Drummond. Then he said, but I know he's not going to do anything. Plus, he's going to keep Dedmon. Vlade doesn't have the balls to do it. Then he just told me to speak my mind. Oh, I'm speaking my mind. I'm pissed off. If you look at this team doesn't have any sort of direction, it seems. The team comes out, they lose a game, they say we need to run. They ran a little bit last game. This game, they hadn't run at all, really. And if you look at this team, they seem to not know what to do. This team seems lost at times. This team seems like they don't know, what to do when they get the ball. Buddy gets the ball, turns it over nonstop. He's a turnover machine. De'Aaron Fox does play well, but his lack of a jump shot, his lack of a confidence in the jump shot is a problem at times. But as far as I'm concerned, though, Fox is like the last thing I'm really worried about. Marvin Bagley can't stay on the floor. Bogdanovic honestly can't stay on the floor. I love Bogdan, though. I love Bogdan Bogdanovic. I love that man. Does he have problems with how he plays? Sometimes, yes. But to me, he gets a little too ISO-y sometimes. But he doesn't, though, because he has games where he can't play make. Bogdan just does what he thinks is best. He's like a utility player. He's like there to do what the team needs. And so that way, I can't get mad at him too much. Holmes is a beast. But when you look at this team, they have no direction. It's like they don't know what to do, where to go. And the team pisses me off. I'm irritated. As far as I'm concerned, and I was texting Skip earlier today, it seems like we have too many cooks in the kitchen. It seems like we don't know what to do and where to go. And I don't know if that's because maybe these pieces on this team really don't fit. Maybe we need to condense our roster. Maybe we need to trade a couple of our guys that are pretty good to get one guy that's great and just fill it out with role players. Maybe we have too many guys that think they're really good, but in reality, maybe they're all just number twos. Maybe we don't really have a true number one. Maybe Fox will never get there. Maybe Buddy will never get there. Bogdan is probably never going to be a number one. So at this point, I'm pissed off. I'm irritated because it seems like we have all these pieces that should be good and they're not playing well. Now, normally when you have a team where their talent is far better than their record, that either means one of two things. The team chemistry sucks or the coach sucks. And honestly, this doesn't seem like a group of guys that would have bad chemistry and that don't like each other. These guys are all pretty mild-mannered, good kids, and they know how to play the game, and they know, for the most part, they have good mindsets. Buddy works hard. De'Aaron works hard. Bagley's a hard worker. Rashawn Holmes has got more hustle than any player in the... Holmes might be the most hustle player since Doug Christie. And I mean, maybe there's somebody I'm forgetting over the years, but Doug Christie would get on you. And Doug Christie was more aggressive in terms of like getting in other guys' faces and stuff. And Holmes doesn't do that as much. He's more mild-mannered in terms of like, really trying to start fights or anything like that. But in terms of, like hustle and just being a baller, I'm trying to figure out which light looks best. My bad. But in terms of just hustling and being a baller, Rashawn Holmes has it in bunches. And and we got Single4 right here saying King should have put Holmes up for All-Star. Now here's the thing. Because we're in the Western Conference, the Kings knew that we had no shot of any of our guys being in the Western Conference. So they in the All-Stars. So they trotted out their De'Aaron, Buddy, Marvin Bagley, I think there was in Harrison Barnes with the 4 players that they essentially, I think, created a hype package centered around those 4 for All-Star, just to make it look like, oh yeah, they're gonna make it an All-Star, blah blah blah. But in reality, they weren't gonna. No one's gonna make it an All-Star team. They knew that. If that wasn't something that was pre-made before the season, if they're actively making that now, the only player that they should have done was Holmes, because Holmes has been a beast. Now Holmes wouldn't make the All-Star team either, but still. And Singh says, yeah, I know that, bro. I'm just irritated. And here's the thing. Like I said, right, when you look at a Kings team, a team in general that has really good talent, but they can't seem to figure out how to get there, usually you blame the coach. But at this point, I don't know what to blame, because we've been blaming the coach for 10 years now, and that hasn't been the answer. So I don't know if I want to blame Luke Walton, but I feel like I should be. I feel like the team is unprepared. I feel like the team isn't playing how they should be, and I feel like the team doesn't know how to act. I feel like the team comes out lackluster, like they don't care, and then at the very end of the game, they try to play really good. And, we're gonna. It's like the team just kind of sticks around for the majority of the game, tries to keep within 10 points, and then like, okay, the last 2 minutes of the game, we're going to try our ass off. Why don't you try your ass off the whole game, and maybe you won't have an issue? You know? It's like, but I don't know. I don't know if is Luke telling them to play a certain way? Does this team just not care? They're losing confidence? Do I blame everybody? Like Singh's saying right there in the chat, do I blame everybody? What is the deal? What do we do here? Because I don't know what to do. I don't know what to think. But I'm getting irritated. Now, here's what I was going for, what I was trying to say earlier. Singh mentioned a trade for Andre Drummond. I actually, as much as people are going to hate this, I know I'm going to get some flack probably, I don't think that would be that bad. Andre Drummond is the best offensive rebounder in the game. How many teams can say they have the best player at something in the entire league? Not many. What's up, Jeff the Lefty? How's it going? Or Jeff, my bad. What's up, Jeff? It's going to be a minute before I remember to just call you Jeff. But we're ranting right now. I'm pissed off. Now, in terms of an Andre Drummond trade, now look, he can't shoot the 3. Here's the situation with Andre Drummond trade. This is why it would make sense for us. Holmes can do pretty much everything Drummond can do. He's not as big, and he's not as good of a rebounder. But you're also not paying him like $24 million or however much Drummond's making. You're paying him $5 million. So in terms of money and production, Holmes can get you probably like 80% of what Drummond can do, or maybe 85% of what Drummond can do, for like $20 million less. And that's where I don't know if an Andre Drummond trade would necessarily make sense, but I wouldn't mind. Because Holmes is Holmes is a starting center. Yeah, Jeff, it was a heartbreaker. Holmes is a starting center to me. But if we got Drummond, I wouldn't mind, because he's the best offensive rebounder in the game. One of the best rebounders in the game. And he can run. You know, he doesn't have like a post-up game, really. But he doesn't need to have a post-up game. As far, I mean, if we played correctly, we don't need centers with a post-up game. I mean, in terms of Bagley, we could run Bagley on the elbow and do like high post offense, Marc Gasol style, once Bagley developed. Or actually, the best player to do that with would be Harry Giles. But Harry Giles probably won't be on the team next year. So what are we doing? What's going on? I don't get it. What is this team? What is the direction? What's the philosophy of this franchise? There is no direction here. What are we doing with Harry? Is Bagley ever gonna, stop getting injured? Is Buddy gonna, are we gonna do something about Buddy because he keeps turning the ball over? And even just take off the court aside, like turnovers and Bagley being raw, like Giles not being on this team and getting good minutes and allowing himself. Here's what the Kings did that's a mistake. They drafted Giles as a project and then decided that they wanted to compete for the 8th seed and decided that they have no time for a project. So, and then it's like, okay, well, it's only the 20th pick in the draft, so I guess it's not that big of a deal that we're just going to get rid of Giles for nothing. But it kind of is. And Vlade, I've been somebody that I've been somebody that has defended Vlade in the past, specifically the Nick Stauskas trade, that everybody thinks that is the worst trade ever. We traded Nick Stauskas to the Sixers and gave up a first-round pick and blah, blah, blah. And, we ruined... Again, that was a pick that we didn't have this year, the 2019 draft. We didn't have our pick because we traded it. And everyone's like, oh, it would have been nice if we had a first-round pick this year. But and then I think Grant Napier made a comment like, the Kings wouldn't have needed their first-round pick this year because essentially, like, we have so many young guys that adding another young guy to the team wouldn't even make sense. And both arguments are dumb, and let me tell you why. If we could have got Matisse Thybulle on this team, a good defender, a guard, forward type player who's a good defender, that would have been awesome. But on the other hand, people just look at the Sixers trade, this Nick Stauskas Sixers trade, and they use it as a reason to shit on Vlade Divac. But here's why you shouldn't, and here's why that's stupid. We had Nick Stauskas, Jason Thompson, and Carl Landry. Nobody would want those guys. We're not going to be able to trade anybody those guys. We had to give up a pick just to get rid of them to move on. Now, the reason people hate that trade is because they say, basically, he just did that trade in order to get Rondo and Marco Bellinelli because he was trying to get some veteran help to make DeMarcus happy because DeMarcus wanted to leave. And you could make the argument that, yes, instead of doing all of that, we could have just traded DeMarcus earlier, and instead of, allowing it to get to a point where we're trying to swing home runs, swing for home runs and get Rondo and Bellinelli to try to make DeMarcus happy. Maybe we should have just got rid of DeMarcus sooner than that. But as far as I'm concerned, that trade wasn't that bad because a lot of the times, if you have a player that nobody will take and he's making a large contract, like at this point, you would probably, unless a team is desperate for a veteran point guard, Chris Paul is making so much money, and he's actually had a very good season. But better example maybe. I don't know, because John Wall is getting better. But essentially, if you have stuff that nobody wants, you have to give, and you want that stuff off of your team because you need to clear the cap space. You have to give away picks, sweeten the deal so that they take your trash, and that's what we were doing. That's why I don't understand why people get so mad at Vlade Divac for that. But Vlade is continually, making mistake, or I don't know if it's necessarily making mistakes, but he's making moves that you could go either way on, and half the fan base, because it's 50-50 move, half the fan base hates it. So it's like Vlade never gets a break, but at this point, I don't know if Vlade deserves a break. Because if you look at the Giles situation, it looks like it's becoming a massive flop because we're not giving him the time to develop. Jeff Lefty says, if Giles was always in the right spot like Holmes does, he would be so much more productive. Yeah, he would. But, if you don't have the correct coaching and Giles isn't getting the correct minutes, he's never going to be able to do that. So the thing is, it's like, and then we have the Luka thing. Luka or Bagley? Should we have drafted Luka? Should we have drafted Bagley? I've told the story before. My phone was sitting next to me on the couch. It was like on the armrest, and it was like, I had my old phone case, and it was like all cracked and broken right here. And I got so mad when we drafted Bagley, I punched my couch, and I punched my phone, and I was bleeding from my hand because I was like irritated. I was pissed that we did not trade, that we did not draft Luka. But here's the thing. Now, when it comes to the Luka and Marvin Bagley thing, was it obvious that we should have drafted Luka? Yes, I thought it would have been a huge mistake if we didn't draft Luka Doncic, and I was pissed off when we didn't. But Marvin Bagley can be a rim runner. He can shoot, and Marvin Bagley can do stuff that can benefit this team if he has opportunity to grow. But he hasn't because he's been injured the whole time. Now, people, I think, get on... Yes, exactly. And I'm getting so sick of the fan base bringing up Luka Doncic. It is annoying as hell. Exactly, saying you're 100% right. And I'm about to go in on this too. All these dudes on Twitter that are nonstop complaining about, Luka, especially Tim Maxwell on Twitter. I don't even care. I'm calling people out right now. Baby Giraffe on Twitter. You keep calling out, we should have drafted Luka. We should have drafted Luka. It's over now. We can't do anything about it. These grown men sitting on Twitter all day whining and complaining that we didn't draft Luka Doncic. It's the most sickening thing I've ever seen in my life. It's over. Who cares? I mean, we care because we're watching and the team's not doing good, but it's not because of Marvin Bagley. Because I mean, okay, if Luka was here, would we be playing better? Maybe. But could Luka and De'Aaron Fox even play good together? Who knows? As soon as Luka got to Dallas, they traded Dennis Smith Jr. Now, Dennis Smith Jr. isn't the player that De'Aaron Fox is, but De'Aaron Fox needs the ball in his hand. De'Aaron Fox still isn't a good shooter. If Luka Doncic is dominating the ball, and Luka Doncic and De'Aaron Fox is on the perimeter, and he has to shoot threes because Luka has the ball in his hand the whole time, it's not going to happen. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, maybe that would actually allow De'Aaron Fox to get better at spot-up shooting. And maybe if we had Buddy in the other corner, and maybe it would have worked. But the fact is, we could also definitely win games with Bagley and Fox and Buddy. Luka isn't the only path to us winning games. These dudes on Twitter act like the only path to us ever being good was drafting Luka Doncic. And that's not the case. You know, I honestly do believe, and I've been trying not to say this because I don't want to not give him a chance, but I'm just about over Luke Walton. This team has so much talent, and they're not playing well, and I do think some games the Kings do not come out, you know, on fire, and the Kings should have more of a fire under their ass. But I think Luke Walton just doesn't, and the Skip's biggest issue is his assistants. Are his assistants just yes men? Do they tell him what he needs to know? Because it seems like they don't really make adjustments. It seems like when Fox and Buddy came out that one game, like last game, you know, game before this one or whatever, and they lost, and they said, or it was the Clippers game. After the Clippers game, they said, we need to start running because there's no time for us to not run. There's no time. We need to run now. That's what De'Aaron Fox and Buddy Hield basically said. More specifically, Buddy Hield. And Buddy was saying that De'Aaron needs to get the ball and run in order to initiate the run and gun offense. And he said there's no time. We don't have time to wait anymore, which tells me that Luke Walton was telling them we're not going to run right away. But the team think they need to run. So are they not running because Luke Walton's not telling them to? I don't understand. There's like a disconnect here that I'm not getting. Let's see here. You have to move on. We have bags. That's it. Yeah, I am so done with Luke, man. This is so bad. This team should have been at least 6 to 8 seed. I mean, I would have thought they would have been, you know. And I'm sick of everybody blaming the draft. Marvin Bagley is a beast. He's good. He's very good. Luka Doncic, and this isn't me being a sour Kings fan, Luka Doncic has some overrated qualities to his game, and I'm going to call them out right now. For one, his defense isn't that great. And Luka Doncic, and trust me, I love Luka Doncic. I studied lots of Luka Doncic game film when I thought the Kings were getting him. He's a very good playmaker. He can shoot. He's got that ferocity that he just like doesn't care. He'll just get, you know, he'll just ball and he'll just he'll kill you with dagger threes, and he's a beast. But defensively, he's not all that great. And also, if you really watch the Mavericks, Kristaps Porzingis isn't in that offense as much as you'd want him to be. Now, the Mavericks are playing well, so it's like, it's all right. But Kristaps Porzingis should be getting the ball more, and he's not really. Kristaps Porzingis isn't included in the offense as much as I think he should be, and I don't know if that's something that's going to work itself out over time when Luka and Kristaps play better, you know, play more with each other and they figure things out. But I'm afraid that having Luka would be almost more like, it would be too James Harden-y, where you got one guy that you're relying on to do everything. But that brings me to my next point. And as much as I don't want us to have a James Harden, LeBron type offense where we just have to stand around and watch one guy do everything, I feel like a trade is in order. And I don't know if a trade's in order, okay? I don't know if we should fire Luke Walton or we should make a trade, but I want us to do something. Because us having this exact same roster and this exact same coach, all for the next till April, and just losing is going to suck. I want something to happen. Singh said trade for Drummond. There's been one other player that's been rumored. Trade for Kevin Love. I don't know. Let me ask you guys in the chat what you think about this. Keep Fox, keep Holmes, keep Bagley, Can the rest of our roster, some combination of the rest of our roster, get us Bradley Beal? Can it? Because at this point, it seems like, voice crack, it seems like this team is in need of somebody that's experienced, a little older, been in the league for a while, and knows how to get buckets and ball. He's still young. He's not like Kevin Love where he's older. He's more well-rounded than probably Love and Drummond both in terms of just as a player. But I think this team needs somebody that's poised, that has the ability to hit big shots, who's a good defender. Buddy's too inconsistent. Bogdan, I think, I don't think Bogdan overall is dynamic enough to continue. Trust me, I love Bogdan. He's a good playmaker. He's a good shooter. And he's a good defender at times. But I think we have too many pieces that are like second banana type guys. I think Beal and Fox could ball together. Holmes is our starting center. Maybe you're able to keep Harrison Barnes. I don't know how that would work, and I'm just throwing this out there. But I want us to have a player that can actually go out there, get buckets. I honestly feel like if Bradley Beal was on our team, I'd be like relieved, because I feel like he could. He's a good defender. He's a good shooter. He even times when John Wall's out has done some point guard stuff, and he's been balling. And I know Bradley Beal is very coveted, and I don't know if the Kings have enough to get him with just like Buddy and Bogdan and Giles and Barnes, some mix of those players with a pick or two. I don't know how that would work. But I feel like this thing where we got Fox and Buddy and Bogdan and Bagley, and it seems like it's too many cooks in the kitchen to me. It seems like we need to do something. Skip mentioned Kevin Love to me. He said would I like Kevin Love? My answer to him was, although I do think Kevin Love, for one, is underrated in terms of he's a good go-to bucket getter for a team. Now, Kevin Love is the kind of guy that people like to shit on him basically because he didn't put up massive stats and play great with the Cavs. He put up big stats in the Timberwolves. That's good stats on a bad team, though. Basically, like DeMarcus used to get with our team. Good stats on a bad team. The thing with Kevin Love is, though, he's a good rebounder. People don't understand that. People watch the Cavaliers' Kevin Love when he was with LeBron, standing out on the three-point line, being ignored, and think that he's just like some overrated white guy spot-up shooter. Kevin Love's a beast. Kevin Love can get buckets. He can play in the post. He could be a guy we could do a high post offense with if we wanted to. He could do some Giles stuff. He averaged like 25, 10, and 5 with the Timberwolves in his prime. Exactly. Bogdan is like Larry Bird. He's not athletic, but he can ball. And that's actually my favorite kind of player to watch. And it's like, it sounds bad, but I don't mean it like that. But I love watching like unathletic white guys that can get buckets, because it's like Danilo Gallinari, for example. It's like that dude is like slow as hell, but he can ball, and it's like it's entertaining to me. And Larry Bird could ball, but even other finesse guys, even like Kobe towards the end of his career, he wasn't super athletic towards the end, but he could ball, he could finesse guys. And there's tons of players. I love finesse players. I take finesse over athleticism any day, just because I think it's more entertaining to watch personally. And Bogdan is one of those guys that's like finesse over athleticism. And there's other players too. I can't think of them right now because I'm kind of in rant mode about other stuff. But let me finish my point with Kevin Love. Kevin Love wasn't used correctly on the Cavaliers. He was standing on the three-point line, being ignored. Basically, he was the last option if Kyrie and LeBron couldn't get a shot. And Kevin Love has, I think, a lot more he could do and more to prove as a player. But he's making like $27 million a year, $29 million a year, and he's 30 years old. I don't know if I want the Kings to make that trade. I do like Kevin Love. I would love to see him on a team where he actually is on a team that doesn't suck and that's not tanking and that can compete. But I just don't know if I want the Kings to make that move myself. With that being said, I think the best trade for the Kings to make would be a Bradley Beal trade, but I highly doubt that happens. The Wizards have made it sound like they don't want to get rid of Bradley Beal in the past. But I don't know if that's going to change at the trade deadline. I'm kind of hoping it does. But I don't see that. I see Drummond probably being the most likely, or Kevin Love. I don't know, because it seems like the Hawks want Drummond. Kevin Love actually might be the most likely of the three, which is kind of scary to me. Because, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if we got Kevin Love and we were balling, I wouldn't mind. But, it's just, I don't know. It's just, when you're sitting here, when you talk about trades, they're so difficult in terms of contracts and picks and stuff. Just sitting here and be like, oh, I think the Kings should trade for Bradley Beal. It's kind of too easy to say, and it makes you sound like an idiot. But that's just what I think. I think we need to make a trade. We need to kind of condense the team a little bit down the more to where we have, we got Fox as our point guard. Bradley Beal is our go-to guy. Holmes is our beast center, and filled out with role players that way. But the thing is, though, we could have a bunch of good players, but if Luke Walton's going to suck as a coach, then that doesn't matter. So that's why I'm thinking, like, maybe I need to calm down. Maybe it's not the players. Maybe it's the coach. Maybe we need to fire Luke Walton. But if we fire Luke Walton, we're going to be a laughingstock. We're going to be looking ridiculous. Everyone's going to be making fun of us again. The Kings suck, blah, blah, blah. And it's like so much. I'm just like so frustrated right now, guys. I can't, it's just, I'm mad. For Beal, what our first and what else? Okay, Jeff says for Beal, would our first and what else could fetch him? Let's go take a look at that real quick, actually. I'm still going to break down the game, by the way. This is a long one. Let's check that out. Let's go trade machine. Let's go ahead and throw it up on the screen here. Okay. So, in terms of picks wise, I don't really know how that would work. I'm assuming we would be giving the Wizards a pick or two, but let's just go straight salaries and just see how that would work. When a free agent signs a contract, or when a player signing a two-way contract has had his contract converted to a standard NBA contract, they cannot trade until December 15 or 3 months, whichever is later. Man, we can't. Bradley Beal's not tradable until. When is Bradley Beal tradable? So it says cannot be traded until December 15th or 3 months, whichever is later. So because it looks like he signed his deal in October, say October 16th or 17th, it says he can't be traded for till December 15th or 3 months, whichever is later. So Bradley Beal would actually be available for a trade, it looks like January 16th, so in about 11 days. But hypothetically, so we can't even throw him in there right now. So it's going to be kind of hard, but he's making 27 mil. So let's just add up 20. I mean, honestly, and I know this wouldn't work because we wouldn't be giving them anything, but Dedmon and Ariza right there, I mean, that's 24 mil. We'd be taking 27 from them. But, I mean, there's tons of... I've just basically add up to 27 mil. Corey Joseph, Trevor Ariza, and you could go Harry Giles for Beal. You could go Ariza, Dedmon, and Giles for Beal. Ariza seems to love Washington. He's been there, played there twice. You could go... I don't know if... I wouldn't really want to include Barnes in that trade. You could go... and the thing is, I know Dedmon and Ariza aren't going to be tradable, so I'm aware of that. But if you're looking at like our big-time players, where's Buddy at? He's making 4 mil. But next year is when he's gets like the 20 mil or whatever. So you could go like Dedmon, Ariza, and Buddy, and a pick for maybe Beal, and maybe you take on... I wouldn't want to do this, but maybe in order to get Beal, we have to also take on Jan Mahimni's contract and then waive him and stretch him. I mean, he isn't expiring though, so I don't know the Wizards probably better just keep him and let the deal expire and have that money later, unless they're trying to get rid of him now for whatever reason. I'm just trying to throw things out there. I doubt the Wizards are going to trade Bertans because Bertans has been balling. But I'm just looking at, I think maybe Dedmon, Ariza, that'd be 25, and then Buddy would make it 29-ish, almost 30 mil. We'd be taking back Beal's 27, and then you would have whatever role players you could throw in. But my point being is there's different combos. You could go Dedmon, Ariza, Buddy. You could go Joseph, Dedmon, Buddy. You could go Joseph, Ariza, Buddy. You could go, you could throw in Yogi in there. Giles could be in there. Like, there's different combinations we could make. It just depends on how we want to do it. You could actually go Barnes and Giles for Beal, and the matchups would be pretty close. The contracts would match up pretty close. But Harrison Barnes is like a main player that we probably wouldn't want to get rid of because he's like been in some of these games. He's been the only guy that's been worth anything, But there's multiple moves we could make here to trade for Beal. It just depends on, I'm sure it's not going to be cheap. We'd have to give up a lot. We'd have to give up probably 2 first-round picks and a mix of whatever, Buddy and Ariza and Dedmon, or maybe throw Bogdan in there. You could go Dedmon and Bogdan would get you to 21 mil, basically 22 mil-ish or around there, and then Bielitsa, maybe you could throw, that would make it around 27-ish. There's all kinds of combos, but I don't know. That's just something I thought about. Like that, I think Bradley Beal would be our best chance to get an all-star type player who's lower on the all-star in terms of. Let me come back to you guys. Here. Bradley Beal is one of those guys that he'd be an all-star in the Eastern Conference, but he'd always be like the last all-star picked. And it's kind of like when you're playing pickup basketball and everybody lines up and you're like the last player picked. Somebody even asked Bradley Beal, I think last all-star, how's it feel being the last all-star picked on the all-star team? He's like, I don't care. Because remember when LeBron and Steph or whoever it was, or LeBron and Giannis picked the all-star and he was the last one picked. But Bradley Beal's a baller. It's almost kind of like Rudy Gay-ish, where Rudy Gay was good on the Raptors, and we traded for him because we felt like he had more to prove, and he was kind of like a good guy on kind of a badish contract. So, and not to say that Bradley Beal's way better than Rudy Gay, but in terms of guys I think underappreciated, I think Bradley Beal's underappreciated. I think if he came to a team with a good support around him, instead of it just being him and John Wall and a bunch of bums, which is what it was the last few years, I think like a Fox, Bradley Beal, Holmes, Harrison Barnes team would be pretty good, and maybe not till next year because it's probably too late for us. But I think probably the Heat, it would be a team that goes for Bradley Beal. There's other teams that are probably going to go for Bradley Beal and get him. But that's just something that I would really like to see the Kings try for. If I just saw the Kings are showing interest in Bradley Beal, I would be like, oh, that feels so good to know that they're... But Vlade's not going to do that. Vlade, he's not going to trade Buddy. I know he's not going to trade Buddy. He's not going to trade Bogdan. None of this is going to happen. I'm just getting my hopes up. But that's just kind of some stuff I was thinking while I was sitting here pissed watching the game. All right, Jeff the Lefty says, don't tease us. I'd give Buddy up myself. Yeah, I'm sick of Buddy. Buddy, Dedmon, or Ariza for Beal sounds good. Is Beal a high-quality player? I think so. He's been better than Buddy for sure. He has a better experience. Yeah, that's the thing. I want a guy that's poised that can get buckets. And Buddy's not that. He's a turnover machine. He plays sloppy. Bradley Beal, to me, it's like... It feels like Bradley Beal to... Oh, and here's the other thing. Here's the interesting thing, by the way. Oops. I accidentally took a screenshot. I didn't mean to do that. Let's look at Bradley Beal's age. Bradley Beal's 26 years old. I just looked it up. Here it is right here. I'll throw it on the screen. Oops, my bad. Bradley Beal, 26 years of age. Look at that. Same age as Buddy. It's not like we'd be giving up for an old player. Singh says Buddy is a one-trick pony. I'm kind of starting to feel that way as well, to be completely honest with you. it seems I don't know. It just seems to me like Bradley Beal's the kind of guy that you can rely on him to go. He can do more, and he's not going to be as turnover prone. He's like a professional to me. Buddy doesn't play like a professional. Buddy plays like a guy like, oh, I'm going to go out there and, I'll handle the ball. Maybe I'll turn it over 7 times, but oh, well, I'm trying really hard. I don't know. Buddy just seems like I just don't know if it's ever going to get better for Buddy. That's my thing, is I'm kind of scared that we're going to be stuck overpaying a guy that can only shoot threes and he's turnover prone. Bradley Beal can get buckets from all over the court. He's a good defender, but I don't want to talk too much about Bradley Beal. Yeah, Buddy at his age does make a lot of mental mistakes. He played college for 4 years, but Bradley Beal's been in the league for a lot longer than him. That's why I'm like, man, it'd be so nice if we had Beal. But let me talk about this game, guys. I've been going on for like 40 minutes on this. And I'm having fun. I'm glad you guys are in here to chat with me. I love it. And I feel a little bit better that I got all this stuff off my chest. But let's talk about this game real quick. Kings versus Pelicans. First quarter. Here we go. Beginning of the game starts out with Lonzo being blocked. JJ Redick has the first bucket of the game for the Pelicans. Ingram dunks the ball. De'Aaron with some beautiful handles, shoots a midi, and he misses it. De'Aaron Fox with a nice finish going to the basket. Harrison Barnes with a nice post-up bucket. Lonzo starts out the game 1-5. Harrison Barnes did have a monster game. Like I said, Harrison Barnes has been the best of the bad situation more often than not for our team. Let me see if I can real quick. Font settings. Let's make that font like a bright yellow. Let's give it like a... just wanted to make the font stand out a little more. I was hoping maybe I could get like a black background. But anyways, yeah, Harrison Barnes and Rashawn Holmes have been the best so far on this team, not even a question. Brandon Ingram with a nice 3. Barnes was too small to guard Favors on a play here. Like, Favors got the ball, post up, and just pretty much dunked it right on Harrison Barnes. Kings at this point were 4 of 11 from downtown. Belly with an offensive foul. Bielitsa with an offensive foul. Fox steals the ball from Lonzo, and I don't think he finished, but he drew the foul. Buddy with an awful pass, turnover. 20-8 start so far. Basically exact same start as the Memphis Grizzlies game, just getting destroyed. Pelicans were running on the Kings. There seemed like they were like two steps ahead of the Kings at all times here in the first quarter. 5 minutes and 7 seconds left into the first quarter, so that's about 7 minutes into the game. No assists for the Kings. Buddy, turnover, but the Kings were able to steal the ball back, and we got corner 3. Sorry, I'm trying to read my writing. We got corner 3, and the Pelicans called a timeout. Buddy comes out of the timeout. Then they get the ball back. He makes it 3. Buddy. Oh, sorry. I was trying to do this study today. Well, I was kind of had the Saints-Vikings game in the background, and I was watching the Kings game, and I was kind of like scribbling. Some of my scribbles are a little hard to read. But Giles had a really nice out-of-bounds save where he saved the ball. Like, I think somebody tried to, I don't know if it was a miss or what, but the ball went out of bounds. And he, like, pretty much kind of, he didn't dive for it, but it was a pretty nice, like, he jumped behind the backboard kind of and threw it. Nice save. That was nice to see Giles. You know, it's always nice seeing Harry Giles do something athletic because you're always, like, scared of his knees are going to, like, fall apart. So it's nice that Harry Giles did something, like, athletic, and it was like, ooh, damn, Harry Giles is a beast. Ariza to Barnes for 3 was a nice to kind of close out the first quarter there. Second quarter. Oh, we're not done the second quarter yet. Score is 26-25, so the Kings were making a bit of a comeback. Hield with an awful one-on-one. I believe it was on Drew Holiday, and he just gets the ball stolen from him. I mean, it was like not even. He was trying to dribble between his legs and stuff, and it's like, dude, they're gonna steal the ball from you, and they did. Typical Buddy Hield. Second quarter, Giles with a moving screen. Giles hits a jumper. Giles draws a foul. Corey Joseph steal to Ariza, air ball. He stole the ball, passed to Ariza. Ariza shot an air ball. Pelicans noticeably slower and a little worse in the second quarter in general. They just seemed like, okay, they kind of blew their wad in the first quarter. Holmes with a nice hook shot. Drew Holiday with an off-balance three that goes in. Fox enters back with a three of his own, which was nice to see. Off the dribble. Yeah, dude, Buddy ISOs are awful. Stupid offensive foul on Bielitsa. I would go as far as to say maybe it shouldn't have been an offensive foul. JJ Redick, 3 free throws on a Ariza foul. Ariza fouled him. It was like, really? You're going to give him three free throws? It was just like... we foul too many three-point shooters and we give too many and ones. It's just like, really? Like, if you're going to foul the dude, clothesline his ass. Put him on his ass. You know what I mean? It's annoying. Lonzo with a 3, Josh Hart with a 3. I'll tell you what, guys, Lonzo Ball was like, he was just shooting the ball every time he touched it. It was crazy. It was like, man, what the hell? And that's the thing with, and guys, I want you to actually, after my little Bradley Beal thing I just ranted about, go watch some Bradley Beal footage, both of you. Bradley Beal wouldn't be that careless with the ball in an ISO situation. Beal can ball, and he's somebody that's not going to just turn over the ball like that. There's not many players that just turn over the ball at will. There's probably actually only 2 other players that turn over the ball as much as Buddy Hield, and that's or 3. Probably Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and LeBron James. The thing is, though, those guys have deserved to have the ball in their hand majority of the time they play. Buddy doesn't. Buddy should never have the ball in his hand as much as he does. Honestly, a guy that I work with, we were talking about the Kings, and he told me something that resonated with me. He said, and this was something that Luke Walton essentially said, I'm giving Bradley Beal the Steph Curry, or I'm giving Buddy Hield the Steph Curry green light. I'm giving Buddy Hield the green light to just shoot as much as he wants and do as much as he wants, because I think Buddy Hield's going to be our key. With his 3-point shooting, he's going to be the key to us winning. Buddy Hield's not good enough to have that green light. And to be honest with you, after last season, I thought Buddy Hield was good enough to have the green light. But it's apparent that he's not. And the fact that he keeps getting opportunities to handle the ball like this is really starting to irritate me. But if he's not getting the ball in spots where he's liking it and he's forced to have to try to create something on his own, whose fault really is that? It's Luke Walton's and the coaching staff. Fox draws a foul, makes both free throws. Harrison Barnes draws another foul. JJ Redick makes a 3. Fox gets goaltended and no call. That was really annoying. These refs, as much as I'm going to sit here and talk about how the team sucks and Luke Walton sucks, these refs suck too. I mean, nobody's good at anything. Everything sucks here. Sactone Breakdown. Oh boy. Okay, quarter 3 at the end here. Bielitsa with the and 1 misses the free throw though, and Lonzo bricks a 3. 52-48 to end the third quarter. 14 of 20. Oh no! I take that back. We're not ending the third quarter here. Third quarter is just beginning. My bad. So 52-48 going into the third quarter. Bielitsa with an and 1 miss. The Kings were 14 and 21 from the free throw line at that point. Lonzo bricks a 3. Fox makes a 3. Bielitsa misses a gimme little layup, but he stays with it and makes up for it. Lonzo with a nice dunk was like, ooh, he kind of put Bielitsa in a poster a tiny bit. I think it was Bielitsa. Buddy with a 3. Holmes with a missed dunk that was really easy. He just tried to slam it too hard, but I think he had Lonzo trailing him, so he was like kind of a little like scared he was gonna get blocked. which he shouldn't have been. But, Lonzo is sneaky good defender. I mean, he's pretty good. So, Lonzo's tall too, and he's athletic. He can jump, I think, more than people give him credit for. As much as I think Lonzo's kind of a wimp, and I hate his mannerisms sometimes, he just kind of looks like feminine when he's on the court. I don't know. I actually like Lonzo's game. I do. But I'm always going to talk crap about Lonzo because he's Fox's, enemy. So I feel like I have to. Yawn. Coffee's wearing off. Ooh. Man, I tell you, that Kings game sucked the life out of me. Kings started missing lots of easy shots here in the third quarter. Fox was 4-10 from the free throw line at this point. Favors with an and one. Inbounds pass turnover cost them 2 more points. Holmes with a nice mop-up, though, from Corey Joseph, missed layup. Eachwan Moore with a 3. Harrison Barnes with a 3. At this point in the game, we're in the third quarter. There was 3 minutes and 22 seconds left in the game. The Pelicans were 11 of 29 from 3, and the Kings were 6 of 13, which we were shooting a little bit better of a percentage, but we shot way less threes, and that's another thing with this team. Luke Walton said we're going to be shooting threes. This game we weren't. Luke Walton said we're going to be shooting tons of threes, and maybe it's better that we're driving to the basket more, but in a game like this where we're making about half of our threes, we're not shooting a lot of them, so it's seems like the days where we should be shooting a lot of threes, we're not. Corey Joseph to Ariza, nice outlet pass. The Kings started playing quick here a little bit. Harrison Barnes with some nice post moves. He missed, but Giles got the putback. Trevor Ariza hit a nice moving 3. Jeff says we need more replays. 1 isn't enough. Refs calls for us and against us aren't consistent. No, they're really not. And I'm going to talk about something with that in the game here. Drew Holiday and 1 Luke Walton challenge that got reversed. So that was nice. Giles with an offensive foul on a screen. That's his second one. That's his second screen that ended up being an offensive foul, because that's the other thing with this team, and I think Skip talked about this a couple reviews ago. Nobody on this team knows how to set a screen. They all stand there, reach out with their chest and their arms, and they get called for fouls every time. It's just get in front of them. But it's the thing is, though, the ball handler needs to do a better job at navigating his defender into the screen. A lot of times they do it too quick, so the guy setting the screen is forced to kind of try to make some contact, and it usually results in an offensive foul being called, which is the right call. But it's really sometimes not the fault of the guy setting the screen. It's the fault of the ball handler, because he's not waiting for the screen to take place and to go around to the point where his ball handler or his defender is being blocked by the screen. Brandon Ingram hits a 3. Fourth quarter, Brandon Ingram hits another 3. Or no, I take that back. The Brandon Ingram 3 was the start of the fourth quarter. Travel by Ariza. 3 turnovers in the first minute and a half of the fourth quarter for the Kings. Lonzo with a 3. Lonzo with a pump fake 3. Steps in for a 2. Yeah, Holmes can set a good screen, but Bagley, his screens are weak, and Giles' screens, his are weak too. Holmes can set a screen, though. A lot of times, if Holmes ever gets called for offensive foul on a screen, a lot of time it's not his fault. A lot of time it's the ball handler, but more of the Bagley and the Giles screens are just them being, stupid. Brandon Ingram draws a foul on Holmes. Holmes goes and sits down. Giles comes in. Nice play on Ariza curl. It didn't end up counting. But there's a nice play where it was Bjelica had the ball in the pinch post, kind of between the 3-point line, between the elbow 3 and the block, that little area in the mid range right there. He had the ball. I'm gonna get to that screen on Ariza at the end here. I'm gonna talk about that because I have some opinions on that. But there's a nice play. Belly had the ball in that pinch post area, and I want to say Holmes and Buddy came up. Ariza was kind of on the. I want to say Ariza was kind of. I don't remember it, to be honest. Let me see if I can. I wonder if there's a way I could find it. I probably couldn't find it. Basically, there's lots of movement on the play. Bjelica had the ball. I want to say Buddy and Ariza. No, I remember. It was a double screen. Holmes and Ariza double screen. Buddy came up he was going to come around the double screen, but then Buddy shot down to the basket, And then Holmes, I think, kind of moved out of the way. And then Ariza came around for a three. It was like a really nice play. I was like, damn, that was like nice. But then ended up being a foul or something that didn't count. I'm like, why did we not get more of that, you know? I don't know. Anyways. And one for the Pelicans. And a tech on Buddy for throwing the ball against the stanchion, which you shouldn't do. It's stupid. Fox bricks a three with 5:18 left in the fourth quarter. Sorry, I'm yawning, guys. 94-85 is the score. We're losing. No one's boxing out, really. I mean, our guards and forwards need to do a better job at boxing out. Not just the big men, but the little guys need to box out, too, to allow the big men to get rebounds. Harrison Barnes makes a three. Buddy makes a three. We had back-to-back threes. 6 minutes and 55 seconds left in the with 6 minutes and 55 seconds left, which I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I forgot. With no assists. So just like the first quarter, we played about halfway of the quarter, and no assists. So we're just like not getting assists. But then like right after that happened, we did actually have an assist. But and assists are kind of overrated. They're not the end all be all. Like, if your team's moving the ball around well, like evenly balanced ball movement, and you're hitting the threes, then yeah, it's nice. And you're hitting your shots, yeah, it's nice assist. But in terms of like, oh, James Harden had like 11 assists, and it's just him being a ball hog the whole game. That's kind of assists where I'm like, who cares? You know, of course you're gonna have all the assists when you have the ball the whole time. But you know, sometimes some assists mean more than others. Is my point. But yeah, us having no assists is bad because we're just missing. A lot of times we're missing our shots, but the ball movement wasn't that great. There was some times where it was, and we played worse games. This was a better. We've been getting to the basket more, but we still don't run, and that's the problem. Brandon Ingram with a three, Buddy with a three, Barnes with a layup, Lonzo with a three. Buddy throws the ball to Alvin Gentry because he was wearing a black suit and he thought it was one of the Kings players in a black uniform. I'm like, really? It's like, it feels elementary. You know, Buddy's game sometimes feels amateur. It does. It feels amateurish sometimes. De'Aaron with an and one. Tech on Josh Hart for throwing the ball at stanchion, which is exactly what Buddy did. Great D, though, by Holmes on Drew Holiday. Lonzo bricks a shot. Buddy gets a steal. Harrison Barnes with a nice 2-point shot in the post. They trapped Drew Holiday, and we're getting towards the end of the game here. They trapped Drew Holiday. And I believe Drew Holiday then passes it to J.J. Redick, who misses the shot. Favors eventually... I forget exactly what happened. I didn't write it in here. I should have. But it looks like Favors eventually got fouled. He made one, he missed one. The score was 113 to 109, I want to say. Trying to remember. Let's actually go. I want to get this right. So let's actually go back to the. Let's go to the play-by-play here. Just so I have this right. Let's go fourth quarter. Oh, Drew Holiday got fouled at one point. So it was 113-111 or 113-109. Rashawn Holmes made a tip shot to me at 113-111. And then Drew Holiday makes 2 free throws. So the score is 115-111. Nemanja Bjelica gets fouled on a three-pointer, banks it in. 115-114 is your score. He makes the free throw. 115-115 tie. And you were thinking, man, wow, we're about to win this. We're about to steal this one. With 1.1 seconds left, they just pretty much allowed J.J. Redick to drive to the basket and make a layup. And we had no more timeouts left. So De'Aaron Fox basically throws the ball in, or somebody threw the ball in. De'Aaron Fox had the ball.
15 minutes could save you 15% more on car insurance.
Hold on.
Over 75 years of savings and service. Yep, pump the brakes on this, swap it over to that.
De'Aaron Fox had the ball. He basically tried to do like a spin move and jack up a three from like 3/4 court. It was a failure. It didn't work, and we lost. Now, that Bjelica clutch shot was amazing, and I was like, yeah, when it happened. But on one of the last plays of the game there, I think it might have been was it on the inbounds when Ariza got fouled? I'm trying to remember. Was it on like the inbounds with like 1.1 seconds left? Or when was that foul? Let me actually check. Let me look. James Ham. Yeah, 4.1 seconds left. So it was towards the end of the game there. If you guys want to take a look at this, let me show it to you. After the 2-minute report came out, and as you can see, they called it a foul on Derek Favors. 4.1 to 1.1 seconds. Quarter 4, call type, foul, offensive, committing player, Derek Favors, disadvantaged player, Trevor Ariza. Now, watching this in live, real time, Favors did lean into Ariza a bit. I would say it probably wasn't as egregious as the two that Giles committed earlier in the game, where it feels like he really leaned in on guys. But yes, it was an offensive foul. I thought it was an offensive foul at the time. I could see why it didn't get called, because I was like, yeah, it wasn't a super egregious, like, oh, he just like totally leaned into him, but he did do it, and it was an offensive foul. And I had a feeling it wouldn't get called in the 2-minute report, but it did. But even take away the 2-minute report, and yeah, I don't know why we have it, because it's stupid. But take away the 2-minute report, I did just think it was an offensive foul myself. I did. But as you can see here, it was, and they didn't call it. And even James Ham had a tweet essentially saying that the 2-minute report has been very slanted against the Kings this year. Like, there's been tons of last-minute fouls that have just been not called on us, or not called on their team. And it sucks. And that's the part where it's like, we're the Kings. We get no respect from refs. So we get no respect from anybody, really. Nobody respects the Kings. Nobody cares about what the Kings got going on. People could care less about the Kings. Who cares if we get screwed over? It just sucks. That's how it is being a Kings fan. And there was a moment there for a while where De'Aaron Fox was drawing fouls a little bit, in like last year, where it's like, okay, he's starting to get some respect from the refs, but I feel like that's gone at this point. I feel like he still gets no calls now. But let's wrap this up. Let me check the box score. I want to look at the box score. There's some things I want to go over just because I think it's kind of funny. Go to the box score here. Lonzo Ball, 4 of 12 from 3. Man, I could have swore if you tested me and asked me how many threes, I would say I would think that Lonzo was probably like, I probably would have guessed like 5 of like 23 from 3. I mean, this man was just jacking up so many shots. It was hilarious. Every time he touched the ball, I mean, you couldn't even count to 2 seconds. You couldn't even count to 1 second. He would just have that thing launched up from deep. He didn't care. Lonzo, and 4 of 12, actually, that's just 2 away from 50%. It's just funny how much Lonzo just shoots. He don't care. He's just like, he just jacks it up. But I mean, Lonzo did play decent. 24 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds. Not a big fan of XXYYZZ stats where it's like, I'm not big of a fan of, he had this many points, so he had to have had a good game, and this many rebounds, this many assists. I don't really think that way. I'm more of a, eye test guy. But that being said, Alonzo did have a good game. JJ Redick, 5 of 10, didn't play that much, and in terms of all the other starters, played more. But he got the game winner. He got the job done. I guess. Jackson Hayes played a little bit. Eachwan Moore didn't do much. But yeah, overall, this team just. Brandon Ingram has been a guy that's been tearing it up this year. Didn't have a great game, but they did enough to win. I really like Brandon Ingram's improvement this year so far. I'm actually a fan of Brandon Ingram. I like him. And actually, I like Lonzo too. Now that he's not on the Lakers, I can admit that. I actually like Lonzo's game a little bit. I think he kind of is wimpy at times in terms of he doesn't like to drive to the basket, it seems like. But I still like Lonzo. I think his game's entertaining to watch in like a Jason Kidd sort of way. But let's get to the Kings here. De'Aaron Fox, 5 of 14 shooting, 5 of 11 from the free throw line. We're just not going to ever do well as a team if our point guard can't make free throws. If De'Aaron Fox isn't a good three-point shooter and he's not a good free throw shooter, we're in trouble because De'Aaron Fox bases his game on driving to the basket. So if he drives, gets foul calls, and doesn't make them, what are we doing? You know, what are we doing here? We need our point guard to be making free throws. Buddy Hield, 7 of 20 shooting, terribly inefficient, 24 points, but God, I mean, that's not a good game. De'Aaron Fox also was inefficient shooting, and, you know, that would have been made up for a little bit had he made all his free throws, but he couldn't even do that. Harrison Barnes, 9 of 12 shooting, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, 30 points. Once again, Holmes is the best of a bad situation for our team. Rashawn Holmes, 6 of 11 shooting, 13 points, 12 rebounds, 2 blocks. Man. Bielitsa, 4 of 11 shooting. So if you look at this, 4 of 11, 6 of 11, 5 of 14. Let's add all those up real quick. Do I have a calculator on here somewhere? So our starters, 4 plus 6. Can you guys see that? You can't. I got a calculator on the screen here. You can't see it, but 4 plus 6 plus 5 plus 7 equals 22. I'm going to take away Harrison Barnes shooting here and just go the other 4 starters. 11 plus 11 plus 14 plus 20. So our entire team shot 22 of 56. Our starters minus Harrison Barnes shot 22 of 56, which is like mid to low 40%, I want to say. If I had to, you know, off the top of my head. 30. That's actually 39% shooting. Other than Harrison Barnes, you know, our other 4 starters, Bielitsa, Holmes, Fox, Hield, they combined shot 39%. And that's why we lost. The team just isn't good. I mean, Yogi Ferrell, 0 of 3. You can't blame Yogi too much. He doesn't get a ton of runs, so I don't want to blame him too much for anything. And, yeah, guys, the team just isn't good. I don't know what we have in store. For this team, I don't know what to say. I mean, I've been at it for over an hour at this point. I think I've said all that I need to say. I think the guys in the chat here have done a great job, you know, expressing their feelings on the Kings. I don't know, guys. I'm at a loss for words. We just have to see how this plays out. Hopefully, Vlade. The thing that's nice with Vlade, we don't have to trade Dedmon, but we're gonna have to move him because he's gonna be like a dark cloud over the Kings all year, where it's like, oh, we got this guy moping around all pissed all the time. I almost want to say Dedmon being in such a bad mood all the time, it almost kind of forces the Kings to have to trade him because he asked for a trade. So we're going to be making a trade of some sort this year for sure. It's going to happen. It just depends on how big of a trade it is. And maybe, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Hopefully we make a good trade, or hopefully something happens good. Hopefully we're blessed. We get blessed by the basketball gods. But at this point, and I was texting Skip earlier. I was ranting to him before I did this, and I told him that watching this team is just a sinking feeling for me. I just feel sunken and just depressing. Now, what am I going to do right now? I'm going to get off the stream. I'm going to go take a shower. I'm going to play Jedi Fallen Order, and I'm going to forget about it. But best believe next time I watch a Kings game tomorrow night, I'm going to be depressed about it, and it's going to suck. But, you know, I'm trying not to think about it too much. But, oh, man, it's just so frustrating, guys. It's so frustrating. We've all been Kings fans for, I don't know how long. I've been a Kings fan since I was a little boy, and it just sucks that they're still not good, you know. They were good for like 5 years when I was like 7 years old. So, anyways, that's the breakdown. That's the review. That's the rant for your Sacramento Kings Pelicans game. We went off today. Probably break some of these clips up and put them on Twitter. Maybe the one where I call out Sacktown Baby Giraffe just to ruffle some feathers, see what happens here. Sacktown Breakdown going to be involved in an argument on Twitter more than likely if I decide to post some of that stuff. It's going to be an all-out brawl, but I'm ready for it. It'll be fun. Anyways, thank you guys so much for being in there. Jeff and Sing04, thank you guys so much for chatting with me. I appreciate your guys. Thank you for the love. Thank you for all the support. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. I don't know if it's going to be me or Skip tomorrow, but Skip's got some opinions, so maybe Skip will do it tomorrow. Maybe Skip will. I might need a break after today's rant, honestly. But anyways, talk to you guys next one. Love you guys.